Hi, everyone, and welcome to another 4D Method 4D user group meeting. Today is April 2nd, 2025, and if you're paying close attention, you'll see this is off of our normal cadence. This is a special event. So we have something that couldn't wait for a normally scheduled 4D Method user group event. Today we're going to just a quick introduction. We're not going to cover some of the usual things that we cover, news events and recent blog articles and such like that. We're going to get right to the special event of taking a look at Visual Studio Code for 4D developers, Code, Debug, and Copilot. We've got Mathieu Ferry and Damien Fuzeau, whom I'm sure I'm butchering their names. My apologies, but do my best in these things. And so yeah, just a quick update of the recent features and integrations that have been made between Visual Studio Code and 4D, and an open discussion of what else is possible and some of the other ideas for features in the 4D IDE as well. So, my name is Brent Raymond. I organize the 4D Method 4D user group. Our website can be found at 4dmethod.com. I can be reached at 4dmethod@gmail.com. I'm just a 4D developer out there in the world wanting to see what's going on. And I'm always excited to see what you are doing, you as in other users and developers in the 4D environment. So I'm always open to ideas for your demonstrations, your presentations for the user group. Upcoming here on April 30th, so that's coming up actually pretty soon after this one, this month anyways. We have Jim Carver talking to us about beautiful documentation made easy. And then we've got on June 18th, welcoming back Bruno Raymakers to talk about lists as objects. So check out the schedule on the website. We've got an open date remaining on there and several more afterwards for you to share your ideas. Just going to quickly highlight a recent development, a recent announcement from 4D. Since we're cutting out some of the general news, didn't want to miss this though, because it's our own Thomas Mao talking about strict typing and 4D. We'll add the actual links to the chat, or if somebody at 4D would like to add those into the chat, that'd be great for these events. As a 4D developer, you know Thomas Mao presentations are not to be missed. Sometimes they're my favorite ones to watch over and over again just to be able to get up to speed with the latest in 4D engineering. So, right, links are in this presentation if you click on those dates, and they will also be in the chat and also online. So just don't want to miss that one. So getting right to the meat of things here, we've got joining us from France, working. They both are working at 4D. We have Mathieu Ferry and Damien Fuzeau, the head of product for 4D and Codely and the product owner for 4D, respectively. And Mathieu has been with 4D since 2020 and Damien since 2019. Both have a long history of development and project management experience. Today, they are here to show off how far 4D development has come using Visual Studio Code as an extra code editing tool. and the advantages that come with that. So welcome, guys, and I really appreciate your coming to the user group with this topic for discussion and help enlighten us about all the great ways we could be using VS Code.
All right. It's our turn now. Okay.
Yes, yeah, go ahead. I'll let you start sharing there.
Okay. I'm gonna start sharing. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
And today is not a webinar. Today is for the method. I'm glad to be with you. I'm just sharing this. I don't have some. Okay. It's okay. I prepared a little thing, and on top of Visual Studio Code, we will have a quick surprise, a very last minute topic. So we will start with Visual Studio Code with Damien and with Mohamed. At the end of this presentation, we will have maybe 10, 15 minutes, maybe more, about the future of leveraging an LLM in 4D. So Mohamed is our co-head of engineering. So we are very lucky to have him tonight. And okay, but let's start with VS Code. The agenda is very classical. I will start with the origins of our work with VS Code at 4D. We'll start with basics of using the tool, how to work with Git, how to debug, which is a quite new feature, and we'll finish with a Copilot just before the bonus moment. For each topic, I will do a very brief introduction, but very brief. All the work is done by Damien. And just after that, so Damien will share a video clip that some of you may have already watched. But the idea is just for us to not to forget any topic, but every time at each step, we can switch to a live interactions. If you want to see something more, Damien can show you the whole tool. But the idea of the video clip is to really trying to cover everything on the topic. All right, so let's start. So about the origins of 4D working with VS Code, in fact, it came with Codely. When we started working on Codely several years ago, in fact, we needed a code editor for the web browser. We chose Monaco, and together with a protocol called LSP, Language Server Protocol. And the good thing is that VS Code is also built on those technologies. So for us, at first, it was an opportunity to propose a VS Code extension for 4D. It was both for us a way to really test all the to do all the tests, in fact, for the LSP parts. But on top of that, it was very helpful for us to be able to use internally VS Code to work among all that. And in the end, of course, one of the first objectives was to make it work with Codely. But it was also for us a very nice addition to be able to propose a complete extension around that. So that's a little bit about how we came on that extension. Just next, so we started with the basics. So VS Code, I think everyone knows it, but if you don't know, you will see just after. It's a free, powerful code editor. And at this moment, what we will show is that it can be used in parallel for the IDE. So it cannot, to our mind, it is not a replacement of for the code editor. There are lots of things that you can do with the code editor that you cannot do with VS Code. But on the contrary, there are lots of things that you will that you are able to do with VS Code, and that would be a little bit a shame to miss, in fact. So we propose an extension called 4D Analyzer that's supporting 4D language, that's supporting, I guess, almost all the LSP features, so syntax coloring, signature helper, go-to definition, and so on. I put the list here on the right, but we'll see that live in a few seconds. What's important to have in mind is that, and I think people who are using it these days, we are not seeing that as a replacement for 4D IDE. I mean, the 4D IDE will stay a long time. Still has a long time of service ahead of it, and but we see that as a complementary tool. This is the current situation. So I propose to start with the popcorn. I mean the video clip, and then we just do a little Q&A or additional demo on that part. Okay, Damien?
Okay.
Okay, great.
Hello, everyone. So I share. I think you have to stop share.
Do you think that you cannot steal my sharing? Okay.
Okay. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with the first part of the demo. I will show you how 4D and VS Code can work together. I open my project with 4D. We can see the methods and classes. And I open a class. I open my VS Code application.
Oh, it's a little bit blurry.
I think.
Yeah.
Yes, my video is lagging.
I can share it maybe for you.
Is this video available on YouTube?
Yes, I think it would be better.
No, I can. You can stop the sharing, and
No, it's on my computer, but
yeah.
Oh yes.
Just a minute. I'm gonna try to share it on my.
It's very slow on my computer. I don't know.
He doesn't have gigabit internet, I guess.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sure he has. I'm gonna share it on my side. No problem. I have lots of gigabytes. No.
I did put the links to the actual videos, the YouTube videos in the chat, and they're also on the post on 4DMethod as well.
Okay, I'm starting it. It should be better.
So let's start with the first part of the demo.
Okay.
I will show you how 4D and VS Code can work together. I open my project with 4D. We can see the methods and classes. And I open a class. I open my VS Code application. And then I drag and drop the folder of my project to open it into it. Now I can see the entire architecture of my project in the VS Code Explorer with all the subfolders, files, methods, classes, and so on. And I can preview the code. When I open a method or a class, I notice that the code is not highlighted. Since I would like the code to be highlighted, I will install the 4D Analyzer extension. To do this, I open the extensions page and search for 4D Analyzer. I install it, and you can see that it's very quick. Okay, without doing anything, we notice that the code is automatically highlighted. There's some interesting features with the extension like signature helper when you over a command or a function. And I want to record this line. I can see that I have suggestions and autocomplete. So I write my code. I see there's an error because the line is underlined, so I can see which error there is, and I fix it. Okay, I save my code, and I can see when opening the code in 4D that the changes have been taken into account as soon as 4D comes to the front. We can see that we can use both applications at the same time. When I return in VS Code, I can see there's errors because a number in front of files. We can see directly the errors by hovering the lines, and we can check all the errors in the problems panel. And when I double click on an error, it automatically opens the file. I can fix the errors, and then we can see they are automatically checked and they disappear from the panel. So I fix all my errors. We can see in the status bar the number of errors and warnings. Okay, there's no more errors and warnings. Cool. Now let's take a look at small apertures for 4D code. You can hover a 4D command or a function to get a brief description of the command or the function. And you can open the documentation by clicking Show Documentation. When you type code in VS Code, you can add as many spaces as you want. It's not formatted. And if you want to format it in the same style as in 4D, you can choose Format Document, and you can see it in 4D. So far, we have only opened 4D code, but another benefit of VS Code is the ability to open other types of files. For example, I can view images. I can't edit them, but it's nice to be able to view them directly. And I can also open XLIF translation files and modify them if I want. I can collapse, expand nodes. Similarly, I can edit JSON files and benefit from VS Code formatting heads and collapsing, expanding. For example, here I edit and I see that I did a mistake. I fix it. And I can open HTML files and edit them as well. Another nice feature of 4D code is the search replace in multiple files. For example, in the application, I realized that the word last name was misspelled. You can see in the form. That's one thing, but when I open the form, I also notice that it doesn't refer to an Xleaf translation. To fix all this, I go back to VS Code and I open the edit find in files function. I search for the word last name. I get many results. I can use filters like match case or match word word to narrow down the list. First, I restrict myself the translation files and then replace it in the correct spelling. Now I filter on my 4D form files and I can replace the static text with a translation reference. I save all. I go back to 4D and I can see the changes. And when I restart my 4D application, I can see that all has been fixed very quickly. That's all for the first part.
Okay.
Sorry for my poor English.
No, I understood everything anyway.
I did too. I understood every word you said.
Yep.
So it's the first part of four topics I will cover today. Just about the basics. I don't know. In fact, it's a little bit. Now I realize I would have liked to have some kind of poll to know how many people are, in fact, currently actually using VS Code with 4D or not. Would have been interesting. I don't know. What are your reactions with this? In fact, we are also here to listen a little bit what you would have to say about that, in fact.
I have a question.
Oh, yeah, please.
And the coloring in VS Code was the default 4D coloring of the code. Keywords, green and blue. Can you, if you have a special coloring setup in 4D, can you make that happen in VS Code, your own colors?
Yes, you can fix the colors as you want.
Okay.
There's some themes. If I can share my screen.
Yes, share your screen if you want. Yeah.
Show you. Okay.
Yeah, when I was trying to set up the font and colors and whatnot for mine, it didn't happen automatically. There is a blog post from a couple of years ago about how to set that up.
Yes.
You do need to copy the styling into your settings file, which I'm sure we're going to now.
When you go in the extension page, it's very long, I don't understand. Here is the style sheet for as in 4D, and you have just to copy it into the settings file, or if you want to have the same style in
VS Code.
In every computer, you can copy it in the settings .json file in the .vs code folder, and here is the style sheet. And the style sheet is dedicated to 4D.
Where's that style in the 4D settings? Is that in your user preferences settings?
No, it's in a file in your project. It's a .vs Code folder.
But this doesn't exist in 4D, so you have to figure out, okay, I like my commands to be black. Now I have to go into this file, find the 4D commands and change it to black. And I like my variables to be orange, go here. There's no way to take what's in 4D and just say, make it happen in VS Code. You have to manually set every one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Today you have to manually set up,
Okay.
Yeah, it's not linked to the 4D style sheet.
Well,
Here is the default style sheet.
Yeah. Somebody will write a converter for that so that we don't have to do it.
But if you use different languages, you can choose to have the same style sheet for language elements for each language if you want. So it's up to you to define your own style sheet if you want. We just give the standard for the style sheet.
And one thing that I found a little tricky was if you open that one more time, please, Damien, you do have to select that theme as well. You see the default light plus?
Yeah.
There is a default light already that comes with VS Code. What this is doing is adding an additional theme.
It's for you press here the style sheet that you find in the settings theme. Color theme.
Yeah.
And here are the themes. So we have the default light plus, which refers to this style sheet. But you can have the default dark if you want. But you can name different style themes if you want. We just added these themes because they were standard in VS Code.
You can go have a dark Tim theme.
Yeah.
There is a question in the chat. Can structure changes, such as adding a field or changing a field type, be done in VS Code? I would think so. It's all text files, right?
Yeah, you could, but it's a text file. Yeah, at this moment, there's no structure editor, visual structure editor for 4D in VS Code.
And I think it could be difficult because there are some UUIDs on fields or indexes or something else. You can edit the 4D catalog file, but it's not very simple.
It's a little bit tricky. Maybe you can fix a few things, but
sounds dangerous.
Yeah.
Yes, because of the UUIDs, I think it's not very easy right now.
It's not that you can't, it's that you shouldn't.
Yeah, perhaps.
I think so.
Perhaps.
I do not recommend.
One thing that I miss from the way that I particularly work is I do rely on the home folder in the 4D Explorer where you're grouping individual, related methods and tables and whatnot together. And I'm trying to think of any way where you could have the same kind of groupings in VS Code, and I'm not certain that's possible because it's relies on the folder structure. Do you know of any way that could translate?
I would. I don't know if it exists, but VS Code, the power also of VS Code is the amount of extensions that are out there. So I would, if I would be trying to do so, I would search for a label labelizer extension, something like that, something to put labels. I mean, perhaps something exists on that. I would do that with label if I would have to implement it.
Makes sense. Then things could be in different folders, have multiple labels.
Yeah. I don't know if it exists. If it does not, maybe it's time to create an extension for that, and then I don't know, sell it maybe. Or...
There you go.
I don't know. Perhaps it exists.
We have a comment in the chat that says, I would be more inclined to use external editors aside from the 4D code editor. More if 4D used the actual file structure for project files rather than its pseudo file structure using the folders.json file. Right. So the folders.json is what structures what you see in the 4D Explorer. First, can't find my stuff in the hierarchy. Second, can't add or move methods to specific folders. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yep.
It's an interesting remark. Yeah.
Maybe it may be a version 21 feature.
As we said, there's some things better in 4D,
Yeah.
other things better in VS Code.
Sure. Should we move on to the next video? Is there anybody that wants to ask any questions about the first one? Thank you, Jim, for adding in the blog article on that goes in depth about how to style the code in the same style as you see in 4D. That link is in the meeting chat. All right.
Right, I'm switching to the other one. All right.
Oh, sorry, stop share.
Part number 2, let's go. Okay, it will be a little bit shorter than the first one. Let's go.
In the second part of the demo, I will show you how VS Code can be your Git partner. I made some modifications. I can see an M in front of each file modified. And when I go to the Git page, I can see all the files that have been changed. If I click on a file, I can see the changes. I choose to commit the changes. I type a comment and commit the changes. And I choose to publish the changes to my remote repository, which is in GitHub. This way, all my colleagues will have the code. Now we are on Noah's computer with another developer in the team. We can see that some files have to be updated from the remote repository. So we go to the Git tab. We can see that there's a commit that has been made by Mark. And we can see the content of the commit, all the modifications that has been made. In my local repo, I have the old version of the application. The translation has not been made. So choose to get the last commit. And I restart my 4D application so that the form can be reloaded. And we can see that the changes, the translation have been taken in account. Now I return to VS Code to show you a file history. So I open a file and I go to the timeline and I can see all the commits that touch the file. And I can see all the changes of the file and the commits. When you place the cursor on a line, you can see who has modified the line the last time. Here it's Noah. On another line, it was me. And on this line, it was Dave, and you have the details of the repo. It's not a Git demo, but if you want to have a Git tools, you have many extensions in the market. You can use it to have different views for your Git repository. So now I will change the review class. I have prepared some code. I paste it and I save my class. And as I said at the beginning, VS Code can be your Git partner, because when you go to the Git tab, you can see the changes. And if you want, you can commit the changes directly in VS Code. It's very simple. Another cool thing I will show you is the revert. So in my project, I search for employee and I choose to replace the employee text with employees. For this says me that this operation cannot be undone, so be careful. I make the changes. I can see the changes has been applied in the code. And in VS Code, I can see all the files that has been touched since my last commit. So I choose to discard all changes, and in one click, or two click, because I have to configure, I discard all changes in the files. And I can see directly in my 4D code that my changes have been reverted. So it's magic.
Okay. All right, it's the end. I will.
Question? Question?
Go ahead, Tim.
Okay, so I noticed that you did the restart interpreted when you made a change. You restarted 4D interpreted to pick up those changes. If you just modify methods, do you have to restart interpreted? Or won't 4D just pick up those new methods for you?
You can answer, Damien, or I can answer, but your mic is mute, Damien.
Okay. Sorry. No, you don't have to restart your 4D app. If the development mode goes to front, the whole project is reloaded, and the methods are reloaded. So if you run the method in 4D, you don't have to restart. In the value, I restarted the project to see the executed interface. So
Okay.
it was just for that.
So the
Are there some changes if you made it in VS Code that would require you to restart interpreted to get those to show up?
No.
Like say you went in and fooled with the catalog file. You went in there and changed field names in the catalog file.
Well, could have just close the window and reopen it, and the changes would be taken in account.
Okay.
So,
And also, there is a command called reload project.
yes.
Could you use that instead? In other words, instead of restarting interpreted, could you just execute a method that had that command reload project?
But the reload project command is for 4D server. It's if you open a 4D server with the project and use the VS Code application on the same project, the same location, this way you have to reload the project for the 4D server, because it doesn't have a development interface, and so even if you put 4D server back to front, the project is not reloaded automatically. So you have to call the reload project command.
Okay, so
in
reload
this
project,
case, only for 4D server.
Reload project only for 4D server. If you're doing standalone development, forget this reload project command. It doesn't apply.
Yes, and if you went in client server, you can call reload project for the client. It will reload the project on the server.
If you're in 4D client connected to 4D server, on 4D client, you can call reload project in a method, and that'll reload it on the server side.
Yes.
Okay. Didn't know that. Great.
Exactly.
I just have a comment and a question. I do love how the Git interface in VS Code uses the styling that our theme, our style sheet for viewing the code. You know, if you were to do that in a purely external tool like SourceTree, you don't get that styling. So it makes reviewing the changes much easier on the eyes. And the question was probably something very simple, but in my own tinkering, I saw that in 4D we have the errors and the warnings, and oftentimes people mute the errors or mute the warnings or don't show the warnings. Is there a way to do the same in VS Code to hide such warnings or?
About the warnings, you can deactivate some warnings in 4D, in the 4D settings. It's a recent feature. I can show you if you want.
Sure. But you can't, those settings don't apply to VS Code. So it's going to show the
Yes, it applies also to VS Code.
Yes, this is the idea of the LSP purposely. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So when you make those settings changes in 4D using the new interface, not the / W minus commands, you can do it in code. You can do / % W minus 533.5.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, you can do that. You can also do that. It's taken into account in the VS Code extension.
That works in VS Code too. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
All right.
It's the same. In 4D, it's very long. I think my computer doesn't like the screen sharing.
You do that just to have a new one. I know that. You want
It's very old. In the settings, in the compiler settings tab, you have now warning tabs. and you can check if the warnings are generated or not. And if you uncheck a warning, the warning is not generated in 4D side, but also in VS Code side. Because VS Code uses Tool 4D application, which is a light 4D, and he uses the same settings.
So that's another question in the back of my mind was, does your project need to be open in 4D for the syntax checking and all of that to work?
No, not necessarily. Not
Okay.
necessarily. You can have it open at the same time.
Yes.
Just like we show that, but you don't have to open it with 4D to have all of this working, in fact, because otherwise it will use its own tool 4D inside it.
Those warning settings that you just showed, the checkbox you turn on and off, those are stored in settings.4D settings file in your project?
I think
no. I think. Can you repeat, please?
Well, you went in that interface and you turned off a warning. Okay. It's got to save that to some file somewhere in the project.
It's probably settings.4D settings because it shows as modified here.
No, that's what I was just asking. Because before, when you do it inline, like //%W minus 533.1, that's just in the method itself.
Yes, and you can use both. You can use to deactivate a warning, and in a particular method to activate it with // plus W and the code.
Yes, but before this option of having a user interface to do this,
yes,
in my compiler method, method, I put a whole bunch of those in there so that before I start to compile, it shuts all that crap off so I don't get the warning. Now I don't have to do that. Now I can just go to the user interface and uncheck those boxes, and it happens. Great.
Yes, it was the only way, but now you can use this.
Okay.
I have a question regarding compatibility with Tool 4D and your own 4D project. So Tool 4D and the 4D analyzer automatically updates with like the latest version, but my project is still, mine personally is in 4D v20.1 LTS.
Yeah.
So those are different versions. So if the tool is running, or Tool 4D is running in a newer version, but checking with the older ones, is that compatible and all? Like the weight of variable declarations are different and all of those things.
Good question.
Yeah. In the settings of the extension, you can select the version of 4D you want to be compatible with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here is I choose to get the latest 4D version. The latest beta version. I can choose the latest beta, which is right now R8. The stable is R7. And I can choose the latest 20R, or I can choose the 20R6 stable because it's no more in beta. I can choose the version as I want. You have more explanations on
the extension.
In the extension page. So
it is recommended to have the same version?
Sorry?
So it's recommended to have the same version of Tool 4D and the 4D version you're using?
Depends. It
depends. If you don't have the same versions, maybe, for example, if you use the latest version in VS Code and an older version in 4D, maybe you will have more errors or warnings in VS Code because more and more warnings, since we have the setting to disable warning. We add more and more warnings for the developer. But if you don't choose the same version, you will also have issues with commands. If you have a new command in the new version, you won't have in the older. So if you don't choose the same version in 4D and VS Code, maybe you could have some mistakes. But
some features do require, we'll probably get to that with the debugger, but it requires R8. Is that correct? 20 R8?
Some features of the extension, you mean?
Right.
I don't think so. For the analyzer, I think there is no new features in R8. It's I think the latest features were done in R6 or R7.
R6, I think all the features are R5.
With the debugger, though, I think I tried to, that might be limited to R8.
The debugger that is R8 only, yeah.
The debugger.
For example, if I'm even working
R8. Yes, it's R8 or higher for the debugger.
Yeah.
And that's for the tool 4D requirement, or also your project, it has to be in R8 or higher?
The tool 4D.
Okay.
And for the debugger, it's 4D server.
Yeah, for the debugger, you have to use 4D server. Yeah, okay. Instead of tool 4D.
Yeah. About Git, I said that there were many extensions. Personally, I like to use this one, the Git length extension, because in the code, like here, oh, sorry. Oh. In each line, I don't know if you see it's light gray, but we know who has touched the line the last time, and if we hover it, we have all the details, and we have tools like blame to see the parts of the files and the latest commits that touch the lines.
Yeah,
it can be useful. I like this extension, but there's many extensions for Git.
Okay.
All right.
Good.
Maybe we
segue to the next video.
Yeah. So next one, I'm starting with this. So next one is about debugging. So debugging, it's quite new. It's available since R8. So I guess I will switch directly to the video clip. And let's go. Okay, it will be 4 minutes of movie. Let's go.
In this demo, I will show you how we can debug 4D code on 4D server with the VS Code debugger. So I open my 4D server, my project, and then I will detach the local debugger because we can have only one debugger on the 4D server. I return to VS Code and open a method. And I go to the run and debug feature. VS Code asks me to install the 4D debugger extension. Yeah. It's very quick, very simple. And now, when I open my method, I can see I can set some breakpoints. Then I return to run and debug. And before running for the first time, I have to create a launch.json file for the configurations. I just have to save the file. And then I choose to attach the VS Code debugger and run the method. The debugger has started and stopped on the first breakpoint. We can see the debug panel with standard actions like continue, step over, stampede2, step out, restart the debug session, and disconnect the local debugger. We can see the variables and navigate into the variables, the attributes, the values. I can execute some lines. I can add some expressions, variables, or every expression you want. For example, for this attribute, there's a long text, so hovering it, you can see the entire text. Okay. I can execute. We can also see the variables content by hovering them in the editor. And in the left, you have also a call stack and the breakpoints. You can activate or deactivate breakpoints. So there's many features in the debugger in VS Code. So I'll let you see by yourself. I disconnect and it's the end of the demo.
Okay. So that's it. Debugger is it's quite new, and yeah, as we just said before, you have to use FOD server to use it. I guess I mean it's you have to set it up in the debuggers in the extension parameters, in the extension setting.
What's the difference between the attach and run or the launch and run? My first instinct was to go to launch and run, and that didn't do what I thought it was going to do. But is it?
The launch and run will launch the 4D application and run the method and quit after the debugging session.
Okay.
The attach will attach a running 4D server. So it will attach the VS Code debugger to the debug server in the 4D server, which is already running.
And then it will detach itself when it's done running as well?
I think you have to detach it manually, no, Damien? I don't.
Yes, you have to detach it. You can only run a debug session on the 4D server at the same time. It's the reason why at the beginning of the video I detach the 4D server local debugger. And you can you can set ask the 4D server to not attach the local debugger at 4D server startup. It's the last line in the edit menu item.
Go ahead, Tim.
What in the VS Code, when the debugger was running, at the bottom of the screen was the debug console. What do you use that for? What shows up there in VS Code, the debug console?
In the debug console, you can send commands to 4D server. You can change variable value. You can call the reload project command, as we see several minutes ago.
Really?
Yes.
So
it will send the command to the 4D server. 4D server execute it, and
so you put a method name in there, and it'll run that method on 4D server.
Yes, you can call a method name.
You put process variable name.
Yes.
Colon equals some value, and it'll set that in that process on 4D server.
Yes, you can also kill the 4D server with a quick 4D.
Oh, okay. Wow, that sounds kind of powerful. Okay. Similar to what you can do in the 4D debugger in the expressions area. You can do that same thing in the expressions.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so in fact, it's the same thing.
Okay, now I understand it. I understand that.
But it's not... it doesn't have has to be secure, because when you are on debugging session, you are the developer, so it's not a security leak. You can, but you can make mistakes with the comments. But you're the developer.
We have a couple of questions in the chat, starting with in this one, we might want to bring up the debugger one more time. It'll be easier to answer looking at the actual debugger. But can you drag and drop expressions to the debugger, or is there a hotkey or something like that? Just for the usability of the debugger in order to highlight code that's running and pull it into the expressions panel.
No, I don't think we can drag and drop expression. If I remember where I tried, but I don't think so.
Paste.
Copy paste, it's okay. You can copy an expression and paste it into the expressions panel.
Okay.
There's no problem. Like in the console debug, you can also do it.
Yeah. Another question: if you attach the debugger and then set a breakpoint in a method, will the debugger show up when that breakpoint is reached by 4D server?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you set the breakpoint in VS Code and you attach the debug session, the debug session will stop when the breakpoint is reached.
Yeah. Another question: why 4D server? I suppose instead of 4D standalone, opening 4D server with a large project takes forever. I can't see how useful the debugger will be if 4D server has to be used.
Why? Because we release early, release often, so we never know when we finish the work. At this moment, it's only 4D server. It was the first easiest step, I mean, for us to reach. Obviously, it would be nice to have it also in the standalone.
Yeah, it would be. Many of us code in standalone these days, given project mode.
That's also the purpose of such meetings, you know, trying to get a little bit of feedback. I think some of you know our infamous feature request forum. So yeah, it's I would love to have some requests like that, because for the moment on VS Code we are, as I told you, it was at first a matter of opportunity for us and for all of you to have such an extension based on the work we done with Codely. But at the moment, we are, you know, a little bit at a crossroads. So should we continue on that or not? What are your feelings? Yeah. I mean, the more demand we have, the more it can orient our work.
I would say one way or another, having what you're doing, you know, with the integration with VS Code, is certainly going to, for someone, a new developer who's already familiar with working with VS Code, it's going to give them a lower barrier to entry to 4D development. That certainly is a good thing for the whole community. But yeah, I think there's a strong ask in the Zoom call for it to work with standalone. So
yeah, I see that. To be frank, I had the same kind of remark internally, you know. So.
But the story for the debugger is the same for the analyzer. It was made for debugging for Codely and for the client server with a new protocol, a new debugging protocol, which is standard. And to verify the standard, we applied it to VS Code.
This feature,
so it was an opportunity to offer it in VS Code.
This feature came in 20R8.
Yeah.
Because you could attach the debugger on 4D server to your local 4D a lot of versions ago in 4D.
Yeah.
But the attaching it in VS Code, that just now came in 20R8.
Yeah.
Okay, I see why it was you already had a bunch of it already implemented. So adding it to VS Code was not as much work as starting from nothing.
No. I mean, I just there was there is always some work. Yeah, but no, yeah.
Yeah, it's not. I wouldn't think it's the same debugger, Tim, that is used that you see in.
Have you ever used this, Brent? Have you ever attached the debugger on 4D server to your local copy of 4D? You have to be in 4D team developer mode to do this.
Yeah.
But it works wonderful. You don't have to remote into your 4D server machine and watch a debugger. You can debug 4D server store procedures right on your local 4D copy, and the debugger pops open, and it's the one that you see on 4D server, but it's on your local copy of 4D. Yeah. Very cool feature.
All right. Maybe we can continue. And let's go. So it will be the last part for VS Code. So it's now time to play a little bit with Copilot and AI. I think also everyone knows Copilot to get code suggestions, completions, and so on. But not only, we're going to try to show you some interesting use cases that we like to use at 4D, and it will make a good transition as we are talking about AI to the bonus topic. So let's go. I will share the last one. Okay, it's a 10-minute clip this time. Let's go.
In this demo, I will show you how GitHub Copilot can help you with your developments. So I install the Copilot extension. You have just to install the first one and it will install also the chat extension. So it's done. I open a method and I open the Copilot panel. You have 3 credits, but I chose to connect to my own account, so I have to identify. It's okay. My Copilot account is ready to use. So I ask Copilot to explain me what the code of this method does, because it's not my project. Copilot gives me many information. He has analyzed all the code. We can see that he understood that he generated some PDF documents. He gives key features and potential improvements. It's fine for refactoring. Now I want Copilot to edit the file, so I switch to Copilot Edits panel, and I ask Copilot to comment this code. We can see he directly edits the file with comments, and we see the changes with a green background. You can keep each line or undo each line if you want, but I think the new comments are better than the older, so I keep all the changes. We have 2 ways to improve the code generation. The first one is the Copilot instruction file, which contains the way 4D is structured and instruction about loops, something else. And we have prompts that can contain some tasks like doc, like generation, command, or something else. So I return to my code and I want Copilot to generate a doc. So I had my prompt doc method and I type /doc and it generates the documentation in the right folder. I can see the documentation. It's markdown. I can preview it. It looks fine. So I keep the doc. And of course, I can see it in 4D. So I open 4D to show you. Here is the doc. Funny. Now I will ask Copilot to generate some code. I open a class, the training class, and I ask Copilot to create an event restrict function in the same way it exists in 2 other classes. So we can see Copilot has generated a function, but it's not as I want. So we can help Copilot to generate better code. In this kind of request, I can add the corresponding class files in the prompt. And I send the same request. Now we can see Copilot has generated a function that looks fine like the other classes. So I keep the code. Very impressive, isn't it? Okay, now I will ask Copilot to modernize this code. He analyzes the file, the class, and he directly generates some changes. Finally, we can see the changes with green lines. I can keep or undo every line if I want. You can see in the first part of the method of the class, he has used a ternary operator. Many changes, I don't want to keep them right now, but it's very funny, very useful. Another code generation. I open the employee class and I ask Copilot to create an age computed property. We can see he has created the code. Some functions doesn't exist. Copilot is not perfect, but the code could be functional with little changes. Another cool work that Copilot can do for you is the translations. So I have prepared an Excel file and I ask Copilot to translate into Spanish. We can see that is translating directly on the file. You can see the changes. It looks very fine. Copilot can also create classes. I ask him to create a singleton class to calculate the Fibonacci sequence, and we can see he has coded it. And I ask him to create the unit test of the class. Okay, and he has created the method for the unit test. It's very fun. Another cool feature in Copilot is the graph generation. I go to the chat panel and ask for a mermaid sequence graph of a method. And I can see he generates it directly. It's very, very impressive. So that's all for the demo.
All right, coming back.
Gee, I can see wasting a lot of hours doing this.
Sorry?
Playing with it, I mean, wow, that looked pretty impressive, especially the documentation creation. That's probably immediately useful. To create
Yeah.
documentation immediately to make the markdown document.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is why we wanted also to show that kind of use cases, because every time people thinking about Copilot is about coding suggestions or generate some coding, and it's maybe not the part where is the most where it is the most efficient. Translating, generating documentation, and so on. You can translate the comments of your code also. For this kind of stuff, it's not dangerous for your code, and it's quite helpful. Yeah.
What about the train that you're going to provide some training files that describe how all these things work? We could add our own, like for example, convert this from a for loop using arrays to a for each using collections type of a change. You had to modernize the code, and I was thinking, oh, that would be a nice feature to be able to have a method that was written in the old for $I, the size of array, convert that into a collection using for each. Modernize it,
Yeah. It's but maybe Damien can share his screens. There's
Yeah.
since recently there are some configuration files for Copilot where you can help it a little bit. At this moment,
Yeah.
we do not provide any default configuration files. We have
So all those files we saw that did all this magic, we don't get those.
we could share them somewhere.
I think you should. Don't just say Copilot. Now you come up with all that. That's some great stuff. We need to have that, and then we'll add to it.
Yeah, we could do that, but we are. I mean, it would be great also for the community to improve, because
Copilot instructions.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. The work is still in progress. It's not perfect.
Great. Good. Look forward to seeing that. Look forward to seeing that and adding my own to it. Like, for example, modernize my code. Here's how to turn a for loop using arrays into a for each loop using collections.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you can. The Copilot instructions is always sent in every prompt. So it's a global settings. Global explanation of how 4D is structured. But if you want to specialize from some tasks, you can add prompts. And like here, I splitted doc method and doc class because I asked Copilot to place the doc files in two different folders. You can add some instruction to have a better result.
What AI engine is doing all of this?
Sorry?
Which AI engine? ChatGPT, Grok?
I use ChatGPT.
Okay.
Because the two other that are proposed are in experimental right now. So as you can see, for example, it's very slow. I have a prompt about mermaid flowchart, and I can't. Touch. No, Copilot edits because it will edit a file. I can here I can add a file. I choose prompt, And I choose Mermaid flowchart. And I ask him to create a diagram. I see he's creating a markdown file where I ask him to place it in the Mermaid folder. I have a content. I can show the preview. I think it's amazing.
That's nice.
Yeah, but it must be supervised. I mean, supervised, or as always. I mean, it's some kind of a coding buddy, but you're not 100% sure he's doing the right stuff. Here, I think you need to go in the details of the diagram to check if it's nonsense or not.
Yes, yes.
Usually, it's with time, it's always getting better, but you're never sure that it can do mistakes.
Yes.
Do you know which AI engine is the most 4D intelligent right now?
Oof.
Ricardo, do you have a comment on which one do you think is the most 4D intelligent?
It changes quickly. It's the one that you have trained and gotten familiar with. Has been my experience.
That's what I'm wondering, is which engine has had the most 4D stuff thrown at it that's been trained on that we can take advantage of outside of our own personal training of that particular engine?
Yeah. Not sure. I don't know.
Okay.
My experience has been it matters more that you have like a good array of these prompt files and suggestion files on hand.
Yeah.
And to that, could I propose that maybe you start just a repo for just these files, and those of us who are interested can fork it, and we could actually turn it into like a community project. And not to put the onus on you to do it all and make it perfect, but you've clearly done some really useful work in terms of presenting the ideas and the patterns that then the rest of us can pick up and start to work with, and then we'll just iterate through until we start coming up with some really, really good stuff.
Yeah, I think I was going to propose the same thing. I think we can start a repo following this 4D method, maybe by the end of the week, for example, and try to share all our experiences. Yeah.
Cool.
It would be great, I guess. We would work much faster like this way.
Yeah, and then nobody's on the hook to make sure that it's perfect or that it works. It's just like, hey, here's what we're doing.
It becomes a big 4D brain. Then it's not just one brain, but it's many people building this up, like Ricardo's demo at the did amazing things, okay? But he built these great training documents to make it do that. And I want to take Ricardo's work and this work and combine it, and be twice as smart as just one by itself.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And Tim, for your question as well about the one thing that I did that was very effective, I actually download the whole, specifications of 4D. There's something on the website that you can do that, and you can feed, ChatGPT or Claude or any other machine with that as well. That could help us a lot in the process as well, right?
You downloaded something from the 4D documentation website?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So it knows the syntax of every 4D command then.
Exactly.
Ooh, okay.
How do you do that without?
Yeah, where do you get that? How did you get that file?
Using about your token allowance for the day or the week.
Well, that's what I'm working with, the training an LLM to already have that embedded, right? So that'll be ideal. But you could specify, the file is not that big actually, and you could have sometimes you have documentation for older versions as well that you could add. I was just putting V20, right? I was just putting the V20 documentation, and yeah, it's available on the website. You can do that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I missed in the video the inline coding, but
yes, you
effectively
forgot that.
you can have suggestions
It's the
and
most thing.
a test. I type birthday and it suggests me to a random date directly. Could be useful. Sometimes it's wrong because there's an error. The property doesn't exist, but it suggests some code directly.
Yeah.
Up to you to accept, modify, or reject.
Is this, do you need to have a paid Copilot subscription to do all of this?
Yeah, you have free credits for Copilot. I don't remind the number of requests, but it's limited by requests by day.
Yeah.
There's some requests per day and some suggestions also per day. But I don't know the quantity.
Hey, Brent.
It's
AI
free since February, if I remember well.
Yeah.
Brent, AI is not free, okay? If you want the free shit, you're just going to play around with it. If you want to really use it, you got to pay.
Yeah.
That's the way.
That's
the way the model is built. AI was never meant to be free. Well, there was a guy that wanted it to be free, but then he got kicked out, and now it's no longer free. We know who that guy is.
Yeah.
And if you use it very often, the results can be slower and slower.
But we are using for the demo, and at 4D, of course, we're using paid account. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Quite impressive, guys. Very impressive, I have to say myself. Very impressive.
Thank you. Damien did
Thank you.
Are you going to be talking about this at 4D Summit in Paris this year?
Sorry?
Are you going to be talking about this at the 4D Summit in Paris this year?
Don't know. Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know. Perhaps.
Maybe. Okay. What else are you going to talk about if you're not going to talk about this?
There's so many things in
Exactly, and it's only 2 days. I think you should make it 4 days. Make the trip worthwhile for us North Americans, okay? As we head across the pond. Be nice to have a 4-day instead of just a 2-day. You could do 2 days just on AI if you want to be serious.
Yeah, 2 days just on AI, yeah. And talking about AI, maybe we can switch to the bonus. So I don't know. I mean, I hope everyone stayed just to show the last thing. So we finished with VS Code. We finished with VS Code. So we'll be glad to get your comments, feelings on the for the forum, for example. We'll surely start a repo about Copilot instructions and so on. So that's a good takeaway at least. And thank you, Damien, for this, really. And I propose you to switch to a bonus time. And to be frank, we very barely talk usually at 4D about upcoming features. I mean, it's very rare. And we made an exception about this because it's AI and we think it's critical. It's very, very important, as we just saw with VS Code. And what we are working on is and I think it was suggested or remarked during Ricardo's presentation at the previous 4D method. So we are working on vectorizing 4D tables, at providing you all the tools, all easy tools to vectorize your databases. I just put here some very simple one-on-one schematics about the principles, but you will understand, I think, much more with Mohamed's demo just after. But the principles we are working on is that you will be able to take any table and any records on a table. Here I take, for example, a person, and based on the content of the fields of each record, will be using an LLM to create a vector and store it back in this same table. I mean, this is the idea we have right now. Everything that I put here or that you will see today is clearly not representative of the final product. It's because it's really like in progress, and but this is the basics. This is the idea we have, and so when each record on your database, on your table, has a vector, what is interesting is that we can use this same LLM to answer to a prompt, an end user prompt, or it could be also some kind of semantic query. And the LLM will answer with a vector that we will be able, with internal tools or functions or integrated mechanisms, we'll be able to, for example, find all the records having the most similar vectors, I mean, that are the closest with the shorter distance from this vector. So all of this we imagine to get them native in 4D. So the idea is that if I have a table with persons and skills, for example, I could directly ask my 4D, okay, who can help me code my 4D project? And it will answer me, that guy, and that guy have some 4D skills, and they can help you with your project. This is the kind of thing that you will be able to do with a not so far version of 4D.
So this like fuzzy searching logic. You know, I'm searching for a particular product, and you give it a name, and it could say, "Here's all the products that have that kind of a name."
It's not only, I mean, fuzzy search. I mean, it can even not be a search. It can just be a general question about your data. It's so interesting. You will see that with just in a few minutes, but it's a way to leverage your data. I think you have to be creative, I mean, to get the most of it. You can just ask us for advices. You can, it's not only a search. I mean, you could have, what we imagine is that with this kind of semantic query or prompting answers, I don't know, to get answers in forms of an entity, for example, or an entity selection, or just a phrase describing what it got from your data. A phrase which can be, build me a team. We're in a topic of persons with skills. So, but okay, this is in progress. So we won't enter in the details of how we are implementing that, because it would have no point today. We would not have enough time, and it would not be, I guess, interesting at the moment. What we want to show you is the principles with a live demo, and to give you an idea of what maybe just to prepare yourself of how to use it and how it could be useful for you. Okay, so just I will stop my sharing, and I will invite Mohamed to share his screen with us.
Yeah, hello everyone. and welcome to this demo. It's my first time to this event for the method, and I have seen very interesting things here. I have been in 2 sessions now with Ricardo, and today with Mathieu and Damien. I'm Mohamed Idrisi. I'm the head of the engineering team at Codely Studio. And I'm here to show you one of the exciting features we are working on. So I will start I will share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So here I have started a project with my 4D server, and I have connected my 4D mono to the server. So this is the structure of my database. I don't know if it is clear, or should I zoom further? It's 150%.
It's fine.
Is it? It's fine. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So this database is just a something like an employee database with the skills matrix of each employee. So we have the main table, which is the employee that has the first name, last name, email, general information about the employee. And also it has three additional attributes that I will explain further after the demo. And each employee can, in order to do not insult the future, I have created a separate table for salaries, because salaries depends on number of years, and it changes over time. And also I have a skill table that has all the skills that my company, employees of my company have, and a table linking the skill with the employee, where we can put the number of years and proficiency level of that skill, and also a list of address. Each employee can be in a specific department, and it has a specific position. So I have already some data in my database. So I have 150 employees for the moment. I have 10 departments. For the positions, I have 50. I have generated 50 positions. The skills, I have 110, and each employee can have up to 3 addresses. This is why I have almost more than 300 addresses. I will go back to the employees. So if I look for this user, for example, so you will see that the details of his information, or the details of the entity, and then I have the indexing status, the embedding, and the summary. So the summary, it's something like a calculated attribute. For the moment, I didn't save it as a calculated attribute, but it summarizes the profile of this user. I have generated data, but explicitly I didn't put informations like the phone number, for example. So I don't have the phone number here in the summary, but I have all the users have the same structure. So I generated the general information about the user, his addresses, and the skills. So it's the same you will see in all the all records. It's the same structure. So I will go directly to the demo. So it's a web application. So here it's a chatbot. I will start with, I have prepared some prompts. I will start with this one. What do you know about Judy Russell? So here, the chatbot saying that you need to look for the employee in the HR database. He retrieved all the information about the user, even the phone number. I don't have it here. So I have explained this because actually the embedding is a combination of the summary. So it's the main text and also the whole entity. So I have vectorized the whole entity with a summary and represented the result as a vector of just numbers. So here we can see that I have all the details. I can check, for example, the hire date. It's 13 November. So Judy Russell is this one. And it's 13 November of 2020. So what I can do next is I will actually change this, or maybe I will go back here and I will ask the same question, but this time I will ask him about me. I'm not in the database, so if I look for Mohammed, does not exist. So I will go back here. Okay, so he's looking for the database. He will go through all the records. He didn't find any employee named Mohammed Idrisi. So I will go back to the database, and after that, I will change this guy, so Judy. Change this to Mohammed Idrisi. So I'm from Morocco, so I will change this to Morocco. Just to force, in order to force the indexing, it will be automatic. Hopefully, very next version, or in the near future. And I have removed the indexing and the embedding. So I will save. So this will force the engine to recalculate the embedding. So if I reload here, I will see that it has generated a new embedding, and as you see here, the summary is it's summary of my profile. So I will ask him again. Can you recheck the database if you know anything about Mohammed Idrisi? Okay. Hopefully the server is always up. I will ask him here in the second chat. Yeah, and here it is. So it's the exactly same result, but this time with my name. So all the details are the same, but so it's about my profile. And if I ask him about Judy Russell, you should not find anything. Okay. Yeah, the demo gods are not with me today.
Yeah.
Reminds me of using Grok. Sometimes it just flakes out and won't talk to you until you quit and start over again.
Yes.
This morning it was working too well.
Just perfect.
I mean, I don't know why it is always that.
Yeah, let me ask him again. So ask him about Judy Russell. Maybe he does not like this guy, Judy Russell. So he's looking for Judy Russell. So he didn't find anything about Judy Russell anymore. But he's proposing other employees. So I can ask him, for example, for more general questions. Yeah, it's very bad today.
Yeah.
So what does the numbers in the embedded field represent? That's the actual numeric vector of that record?
Exactly.
Actually, it's the representation of the meaning of what we have given as input. So this is generated by an LLM. So the LLMs are very powerful to generate these vectors. And regarding the Tim's question, if it is a fuzzy search, it's not. It's searching by similarity of the meaning and not similarity of the words.
Good. That's the right way to do it. Fuzzy search is not always very accurate. I'm really looking forward to this vectorization. I've been working on a project right now, and we'd rip it all the fuzzy search and replace it with this if it was available right now.
Yeah.
You get so much better results.
Here we go. So I have some my colleagues that's masters Node.js. So if I look for this Rebecca Mills, it's this one, and her ID is 150, and I will go to employee skills, and I know that Node.js is 21, the skill ID 21, it's this one, and she is advanced on Node.js and has 2 years of experience. And if I check here, I have the same result here. So Node.js skill is advanced and with 2 years of experience. I can ask for since I have data about the birthday of each employee, I can ask something like which my colleagues are soon to retire. And it's very clever. He's saying here that the soon to retire is not very specific, and it depends on the company regulations and etc. So he picks 60 as a year of retirement, and it outputs for me my colleagues who have almost 57 years or 6 years. Here we go. So I won't bother you by all these prompts, but actually you can try it yourself. I will keep my machine up for the next 15 minutes. So you can just go to this URL and you can play with this data.
Be quick. Yeah. Shut it down in 15 minutes. So I guess I hope it's interesting at least. I mean, and confirm it, Mohamed, because this does not require any training for
exactly.
This is
exactly. I didn't train the LLM with any of my data. It's just getting the data directly from the database, and it's real time. So.
Interesting.
So as you saw, we are using a vector that 4D will be able to calculate by itself. And you have to see it as a kind of an index. In fact, it's when the data from your record is changed, then this vector will be updated as well, and used by the LLM to answer you. In fact,
you didn't use 4D code to create those vector values. You used the
LLM.
the AI, the LLM to create those vectored values. And then when you ask it questions, it knows to use those vectored values to find.
Actually, it transforms the question to a vector.
Yeah.
And after that, 4D will find the similar vector in the database and returns the results.
So very, very impressive for what you've shown so far.
Yeah, the key is with the vector that the LLM gives back to us is for us to provide the records of the things that are the most the closest.
Yeah. You got to talk about this at 4D Summit in Paris. You just got to talk about this.
Is the search a sequential search where you're comparing each vector in each of the records to the question vector?
This is the kind of thing that we will keep a little bit secret, but of course we will have to make it fast anyway.
Yeah, a vector-based search would be pretty awesome.
I didn't see those fields indexed, Brent. So they're doing something special under the hood. That wasn't an indexed search.
So would implementing vectorization within 4D also include making 4D much faster at importing and exporting data?
At this moment, we haven't came across such difficulty, but
actually the vector search could be used with LLMs, like I have shown you today, but you can use it for many other things. Like imagine you have images or blobs or something like that, and you can vectorize these blobs and save them in the database, save the vector in the database, and after that you can search images that are similar just because the vectors are similar. So it's the application of vector search. It's not very specific to LLMs and AI, but a very good use case is AI.
Cool. Well, thanks for the bonus demo.
Yeah, we thought you would like it. Yeah,
exciting. Yeah, it's always nice to, like you said, we don't often get a sneak peek of what's being worked on and kicked around for features so new as this. Yeah. And I think we all probably learned a thing or two about the VS Code integrations as well. It's really neat to see it all working together, especially with the new features for the debugger. It's a lot of accolades in the chat there for I think we all saw an exciting future for the 4D development and upcoming 4D versions. And like Tim, I want to see more, and it'd be a good selling point for getting us all to Paris. So All right. Well, if there's any other questions, now's the time to do it. Otherwise, we do have the dedicated forum posting for addressing questions directly to the group and to the presenters today. Thank you to everybody at 4D for putting this together. You know, we're always here. We're a pretty easy crowd. So come back and chat with us when you have anything else you'd like to get a reaction on, or to just get extra eyes on in the community. Yeah. So well, thanks again, and we hope to have you back to see
more
next time.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Thank you, and you know, I repeat it often, but we daily or hourly read our forum, our feature requests, and so on. So do if something bothers you and so on, and you want to see, so for example about VS Code or else, don't hesitate.
Absolutely. All right.
And thank you everyone, and thank you Damien, thank you Mohamed.
Yes.
Because I did nothing. I just wrote the slides. You know?
All right. Thanks again. Until next time.
Thank you. Goodbye.